Now we begin tonight with Daunte Wright, another unarmed black man killed by police in a puzzling act of traceable state-sanctioned violence with uninterrupted historic precedent. Before meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus, President Biden said this.
President, what is the actual hope that people should have that there'll be a change in the way that African Americans interact with police in this country during the Biden era? What can you deliver on, sir?
A lot, and I'll tell you later. Let's go.
That, of course, is a reference to Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous "I got a lot in the pipeline" address. In Minnesota, protests against police continue and could finally give the Brooklyn Center Police Department the justification it needs to obtain the first city-owned nuclear weapon. Judy, the same number of people got shot at this traffic stop as got shot when thousands of primarily white people invaded the United States Capitol. Would black people be safer driving if we legally ruled the insides of their cars part of the Senate chamber?
Well, this incident in the suburbs of Minneapolis is just a tragedy on top of a tragedy. It happened 10 miles from where the George Floyd, the Derek Chauvin trial is taking place. We have seen this picture before. As a country, we keep asking, why do these incidents keep happening?
So that officers do not automatically assume the worst, people of color should only drive in completely transparent vehicles. That's the sort of half measure that could meaningfully kick the can down the road.
Now, I've reviewed the data, and the only way for a black person to avoid being shot by police is to cryogenically freeze themselves for 500 years and hope the robots are programmed not to be racist lunatics.
The New York Times released this photo of a gun and taser likely used in the traffic stop. As you can see, one is a gun and one is a different kind of gun. The obvious solution here is to put handles and triggers on more things in their holsters to increase the chances they reach for one of their non-gun guns. Judy, a lot of critics are saying this should accelerate an end to armed police conducting traffic stops, but then where will we play out our violent showdown fantasies?
The problem is we know that laws that govern what the police do change from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. You have the federal laws that are handed down when Congress passes a law or when the Supreme Court issues a ruling that affects law enforcement all over the country. But then you have state laws, and then you have laws that take place in individual counties or cities. I'm not sure that any one law is going to make a difference.
You know, people are confused at how a 26-year veteran of the force could mix up weapons like this. But, you know, even the South messes up on what flag to use 160 years after the Civil War.
And now in 3 years and 50 crises away news, Florida Governor and Yale grad, man of the people, Ron DeSantis is emerging as the Republican Party's heir apparent to President Trump. They golfed together just before Politico published a report showing Governor Ron DeSantis continues to haul in money for his re-election campaign at a torrential pace, adding close to $6 million since the start of this year's annual Florida legislative session on March 2nd. Now, based on what we know about how DeSantis handled COVID data, it's possible that fundraising number is significantly higher. Judy, any word on what rude nickname Trump will give DeSantis once their tenuous friendship devolves into a political rivalry?
Well, James, since they are golf buddies, the difference is, as you just said, Governor DeSantis went to Yale, he went to Harvard Law School, he served in the military, he served in the Judge Advocate Corps, he's been the governor of Florida. But wait a minute, before we get too ahead of ourselves, he's got a lot of other people who may be interested in running for president in 2024. One of them is President Trump himself.
No, my sources say that Trump has promised DeSantis that if he joins Trump's ticket as VP, Trump will not instruct his blood-craving base to chase him around the Capitol with zip ties.
Oh, that's nice.
Right,
I spoke to some computer scientists, and they say facial analysis proves DeSantis has the perfect ratio of dead eyes to slack-jawed befuddlement that Americans look for when picking which dumbass they can most relate to when voting for president.
All right, folks, get your passports ready because now it's time for, hold on. We are not doing this segment. Sorry, we were planning on a kind of wacky travel segment called Where in the World is Prince Philip? Prince Philip was going to appear live from someplace, and we'd have to guess where he was. For obvious reasons, we're not going to do that anymore, of course.
Of course, yes. Makes sense.
Hey, James.
Yeah, who's this?
It's Bob, the graphics guy.
Hey, Bob, we're live right now. What's going on?
I know, it's just, I worked pretty hard on the Where in the World is Prince Philip graphic. I told all my nieces and nephews it's going to be on the show.
Yeah, well, Prince Philip's died, so, you know, we really don't want to be disrespectful to the royal family here.
I totally get that. It's just, old Bob doesn't get a lot of wins these days, and I'd really appreciate it.
Okay, well, I'd rather be a bad broadcaster than a bad boss, so let's just do it. Sorry, Judy, just bear with us here. It's time now for Where in the World is Prince Philip?
Cheerio!
Wow, great work on that graphic, Bob. Now moving on.
Hey, James?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like your heart wasn't in it. Could you maybe take it again?
Yeah. We can totally do that.
All right, people, let's take it from the top. And action!
It's time now for Where in the World is Prince Philip? Okay, did we get it?
A little too big, but I think that's the best we're gonna get. But while we're here, I also made an in memoriam graphic for Henry Kissinger.
Bob, he is not dead yet.
I know, but I worked on it straight through my wife's birthday. Action!
Oh, hold on. I never said to play that. Jesus. Okay, thank you, Bob.
I don't do it for the credit.
Oh, I'm sure you don't.